mom is having a fit because I'm going to go put up rent in Cuba.
I'm sure you're familiar with the award-winning Broadway musical Rent. Well, joining us today we have Andy Sr. Jr. and Victor Alvarez talking about their new HBO original, Revolution Rent. How are you guys feeling today?
Super excited. I'm super excited. It's been a long time working on the documentary, and that, tonight it's going to be seen all over the world. It's amazing.
For this to happen, I keep asking Andy, I'm like, is this really happening? Is it really going live tonight?
Now, I saw it and it was emotional. It was very impactful. And I want to know, what do you want the viewers to take away from this documentary?
For myself, I want them to take away the value of family, love, despite our differences, communication, and what's available when we commune, and like communication, action when we commune. So much is possible. Throughout
the documentary, I see that you guys face many trials and tribulations. How were you able to overcome that? Did you ever feel like throwing in the towel and just giving up?
As far as putting up the show, I didn't have, I guess I felt that often. I always feel that. I think it's, I sometimes overpromise the things that I want to do in my life. But with that, I knew that it just wasn't an option. We had to make it to December 24th, no matter what. And we did it, sometimes without grace, but we got
when
there.
You started this project, did you foresee the future, that it would end up on HBO? Did this start off as a passion project? Tell us the drive behind that.
Well, I think the drive was, this is an important story because there's not many people like Andy Sr. that go to Cuba. We usually go to Cuba to do documentaries on, politics and things that are very controversial. But I think going to Cuba with Andy, it was a human story. It was I remember, being with Andy at the airport before we left, and I said, Andy, what do you think this is about? And Andy was like, human connection. Beyond comparison, this is human connection, and that stuck with me, and that was the common denominator and the driving force.
If you had to describe Revolution Rent in 3 words, what would they be?
Love, family, love. And definitely passion.
What was one of the most memorable moments on set in the making of Revolution Rent?
For me, it was Andy had to, it was luckily we captured, because there's a lot of things that happened behind the camera. But the one thing that I was very fortunate to capture was him telling the castmates that it's time, we got to level up. And I think that's a metaphor for the relationship between Cuba and America. Is we have to level up. I don't know what it looks like, but we have to, and that's the whole Broadway element to it. So I think that was the moment for me that really resonated. It was the goosebump moment for me. It was like someone was in Cuba saying that we have to rise.
For myself, it was I think when that plane was descending and my mom was looking out the window. And just seeing Cuba, and just like her, imagining all those thoughts that were running through her head. I think that was, it's ingrained in my head forever.
Now, before we go, being a local former theater student, do you have any advice for any future theater students?
I always say this with students, is like, whatever it is that you're doing now, do it full out and with conviction and with passion, because it's what I'm doing now professionally is no different from what I did in college, is no different from what I did in high school. It's just the budgets change, and the how professional it is changes, but who I'm being is the same that I've always been. So if you're waiting for some gig or something to then show up, I'm not necessarily sure that's going to work. It's just having taking advantage of the opportunities that you have wherever it is that you are.
Así que le doy gracias a ustedes por ser mi familia.
Junket.